Racing the bond between man, woman, and child.
Okay, peace and love, peace and love. Yes, we live in the Sister Circle. We're a little behind this morning, but y'all can come with us. We did Judy here. Yes, Lord. This has been a long time.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Building this morning. Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for chiming in today. Of course, this is the Sister Circle for Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags organization. We are happy to be back for October's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we kicking it off and we kicking it out for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And Judy has been with the Sister Circle for a minute now. And I was like, Judy, you ready to? Judy, can you get on? Judy, can you get on? And she was like, girl, I got to work. I got to get my money. Okay. This is a real treat here today that we got Judy on. But first, you know, of course, domestic violence is a very serious piece for a lot of people. Women, men, teens, boys, and girls that are at that dinner table, you know, struggling due to domestic violence. It's not a joke. You know, if you know somebody or you may be, you know, going through it yourself and you're not sure about, you know, how you should navigate and all those beautiful things, I get it, you know, but at the same time, help is here. You know, there's a lot of places that you can go to get help because more and more people are talking about it. And then you have survivors, which is the greatest piece. You have people that have survived it, you know, which means that it's possible for you, you know, if you find that you are a victim of domestic violence or the abuser, you know, you can survive. You can be a survivor of it. So you may feel like you alone. You may feel like, you know, I don't know what to do. Like I told so many people they didn't help me. People have lied to me. You know, they've sent me in the wrong direction. Law enforcement didn't help me. You know, the judge let them back out. All of those things that we be hearing about domestic violence, you know, don't give up because those things can make you give up. Don't give up. You know, keep on searching. You know, keep on praying and asking God to help you, direct you, whoever your higher power is. Mine is God.
Amen.
Help, you know, you get the direction that you need from somebody or some space that is, you know, sensitive to it and that really can help you devise your exit strategy when it comes to domestic violence. So don't get it twisted. You got to have an exit strategy. You need an exit strategy when it comes to domestic violence because so many of us have left. You know, they have did just leave. Would everybody be recommending that you do? Just leave. Just leave. It don't matter. Just go. You don't have to stay. You don't have to put up with this. Well, that's not realistic. You know,
right.
Victim that is in this stuff. And a lot of times the victim know they can't just leave. You know, and I feel like if a victim know that, he or she is smart. Because you cannot just leave. You need to devise a strategy, a plan to get out of that situation because we want you to survive. So we want you to survive it because we know you can survive. So, you know, keep your hopes up. Don't lose hope. Don't lose sight. God knows where everybody is. He got your miracles in place for you. And if somebody is fleeing domestic violence, trust me, it's going to take a miracle for you to survive. So, and I'm a survivor. Judy is, and we still surviving it. Okay, so because when another going through it, we back in it. Okay, because we're not gonna leave her out there by herself to go through this, especially when that sister have said, "I need help," because I never felt like I got the help, or a sister been searching for the help. We not gonna leave her out there by herself to fend in something like that. But even us as survivors and advocates and professionals and things, we gotta tread lightly too, because 20% of the bystanders get killed in domestic violence situations. Everybody in it gotta be smart about strategizing how this victim can exit the relationship and still be, still survive it. So definitely keep that in mind. So if you know somebody who's going through it, of course, I can be a refer. Judy gonna put her information out there. She is going to be someone that you can refer victims to as well. So don't be afraid. You can do it in secret. When the abuser not around. How you can say something or reach out in some type of small, quick way. Because we know that the abusers spend a lot of money tracking their victims too. So they always got a pair of eyes on you. So you got lightly about, who you reaching out to. And please do not download these apps and get that on your phone, because the abuser is tracking everything you're doing. Okay, so if you're reaching out to help apps and all of these things, you're going to get in trouble. So we don't want that. Okay, but there is small moments where the victim know that they can reach out and try to get a little bit. You may have to get a little bit at a time. But trust me, the buildup going to be when you exit, when you finally say no more. Like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm done. So you will meet your deadline date at the end of the day when you want to be done. But that's not something you pick up. You can take your bags and literally walk out. Okay, no. And some of y'all have done the back and forth. We do that back and forth. The back and forth in domestic violence situations. Why she go back? Why he go back? We do that. But when you really decide to leave without a plan, you really decide to leave this time without a strategy, you can be killed. You can be killed. So
amen.
I want to put that out there for everybody. Of course, you can call 1-800-799-SAFE if you feel like you're not safe, or you feel like you don't understand, you need a little bit more insight. If you want to know the pre-contemplation stage, just do pre-contemplation. That does not mean you have to leave. That does not mean it.
Right.
That just means that you're inquiring about what an exit could potentially look like. All right. So that's home base right there. Okay. Judy, come on in, girl. Judy telling people.
Yes, sis. Good morning. Good morning, sis. And good morning, everybody. Purple kisses to everyone this morning. And sis, I'm so glad you went there. The safe escape plan is crucial in domestic violence. And in my situation, I created a 5-year escape plan in which I executed in 3 years. Because sometimes you have to sit in it and figure it out, because just like sis said, we play the running back and forth. I leave, I come back, because we're not ready to go, or it's easier to be with the abuser because we feel like when we're out here trying to get away from them, that's even scarier. So there were some things that I needed to do for myself so that when I actually left, I could be self-sufficient, if that makes sense. So I was working, taking care of myself, the kids. I didn't know how to drive. So that was one thing that my abuser had me locked into. The weather is bad. You know, you got to get kids to different schools. You trying to get to work. So that was his easy foot in to always be able to come back. And that was something that I depended upon him on for transportation, getting us to and from, especially, like I said, the winter months, rainy weather, stuff like that. So part of that plan became at 38 years old, I took driving lessons, 7 hours of driving lessons. At 38, bought my first car after those 7 driving lessons, and then that opened up the door of freedom. After that, I got a letter in the mail for this place, which I'm still in right now, that I moved into 18 years ago. And I was like, I didn't even apply for this place. Where did this come from? So, you know, as you start moving, God is going to open up those doors that are going to help you once he know you ready as well, you know? And that came from a place of focusing on the solutions and not the problem. As long as I kept focusing on him as the problem, I was playing his game. I was like, he would make me mad. I would get off work. I would go pick up the kids from school early, go get a hotel room, go spend the night over a friend's house. You know, I was just doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff, you know, because my mind wasn't right. I was playing get back with him, like, oh, you know, he did this, so now I'm gonna do this. And it was, you know, it wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to the kids. You know, I was trying to keep them from seeing abuse, but I was uprooting them, you know, doing crazy stuff, staying in hotel rooms, staying over friends' house. We sleeping on the floor in places. We ducking and dodging. We doing all these things, trying to, you know, get away from him. And it just became crazy. So one day I really sat down and I'm being transparent. I sat down and I cried. I said, God, you ain't never did me like this. I do not understand this foolishness right now. What is going on? Talk to me. Talk to your daughter. And I was married before, long time ago, and my husband was a brat, but he was a good man. He paid all the bills in the house. He never put hands on me. He adored me. Did he want hot food jumping out the pan when he got out off of work? Yes. But as a young girl, I didn't understand that. So God showed me what it was going to look like on the other side of the fence. You know what I'm saying? You heard that saying, we think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Okay, so God like, okay. So now I get with a man that's want me to pay half the bills in the house, a man that's going to put hands on me, a man that's going to go out and have a baby on me while we are in a relationship, and all of these things. So, you know, it started coming to me like, oh, I get it. You wanted me to understand what a man really looks like. And that's not always somebody that's cute or can swing it one way or the other way or whatever. It's about being a responsible adult in your home. Okay? So all that, because he was spoiled, he wanted high dinner. He deserved it at the end of the day. You working, you paying all the bills and stuff like that. You deserve it. But my 20-year-old self did not understand that at the time. So I said, okay, so now I know. I know what it was that I was supposed to see in you. I see you for who you are. I have played every game that I could play with you. You are not the man for me. You know, I didn't try to manipulate you into being a good man. I didn't try to boost you up in any kind of way to be a good man. You are just absolutely not a good man, and you are not the man for me. And so there's no reason for me to keep on doing all of these things, trying to get you to be who I want you to be, because you're just not it. So I just stopped caring. And I started working on myself and getting myself together, focusing on myself and my kids. Like I said, becoming self-sufficient so that I could walk out of the door and walk out the door and mean it this time. And he didn't even see it coming. Let me tell you, he did not see it coming. I got this place in June. What was that, 2020, 2007? Yeah, June 2007. I did not move in until October. I didn't even tell the kids I had this place. I've refurnished it. I put food in the refrigerator. I bought all new pots and pans. I didn't do my room till last. But I did my linen closets, the bathroom. When one day he walked out the door talking big trash, oh, bitch, boom, boom, boom. I said, okay. I called my father, said, today's the day. My father, when they got the U-Haul, I emptied out the kids' room. I took a little bit of my personal stuff, and I was gone, and we were here. And he was home for hours before he even realized I was gone, because that's how well I left him. He came to me from his mama house with Safeway bags, but I left you in a fully furnished apartment, food in the refrigerator, my pots and pans. So, like I said, this joker laying in the bed, he thinking, oh, they gone out, whatever. Not even realizing I'm gone for good, buddy. And it wasn't until he said it was like 2 hours he'd been home, and he was like, where they at? And so he looked over, and I had this little nightstand that used to sit by my bed. That was gone. He was like, what nightstand at? So we had his and her closet. So he go open up my closet empty. He run down the hall. Kids' rooms are totally empty because that is the only room that I emptied out was their room. So now he's calling, trying to figure out where I am. At that point, I had talked to my supervisor. I changed my schedule at work. I kind of did a little bit of maneuvering with the kids and stuff. But it took him about 2 weeks to lay low and track me down and figure out where I was. Wow. And so like for a week after that, he would stalk me, and I would go to the police station so I could get an escort home because I was scared to get out of my car. And one day the police officer told him, she's not going to keep coming down here to get an escort in the house, and you're going to leave her alone or we're going to lock you up. And so then I told him, I said, you know what? I'm going to take a restraining order out on you. I'm going to go to my property, and I'm going to put a restraining order on you against the property. And if this is how you want to do it, this is what we're going to have to do now, because you're not getting ready to bully me into getting back with you. You're not coming here to live. You got your own apartment. Stay on over there. I left you good, you know. And so one day he was banging on the window. He broke the window, and I called him and I said, I'm on my way to go take out the paperwork. And I just want you to know, if you come around here, I'm going to have the police lock you up. So I think something clicked in his mind at that point. He was like, you know what, Judy, I don't want you to do that. And I'm not going to come around there and harass you anymore. And I don't want it to be so I can't come around you or the kids at all. So I said, all right, I'm going to give you one chance. And I said, and I mean it, because right now I'm ready to do or die. This the point we at right now. We at do or die. I done left. I done did everything I could do. Right now we at do or die. And so that's kind of how it kind of dwindled down. You know, with him realizing that, okay, she not playing with me no more. At this point, I'm done with it. I'm ready to start fighting back now. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to take it however you want to take it. I'm about it. Let's be about it. You know, and I think at that point he seen a different side of me and was like, you know what, I'm not gonna play with her no more. So then he went on about his merry little way. We continued to co-parent our kids, as well as he continued to co-parent the kids that he helped me with before we start having kids. So he remained a father figure to those kids, and he remained a father figure to the kids that we share. And even now to this day, we can sit in the same room together. And I was telling Sis the other day, I'm a domestic violence survivor of 18 years. I met Sis probably about, I created the NE Divas, I think 10 years. I think we're getting ready to come up on our 10-year anniversary. So maybe about 9 years, close to 10 years, I've been with Sis in the sister circle. And I met Sis through Lanice. And that's my baby. And coming into the classroom, I was straight up victim. You hear me? He did me this way. He this. So I'm listening to this education that Sis giving us. So I hit Sis up like, hey, can victims be abusers too? This like absolutely. I said okay, because I'm looking at these tendencies. I'm the lockout queen. Like I got the baby on the hip, the screwdriver in the hand. I can change the lock in 5 minutes, top and bottom with the baby on the hip. Like, don't do what I tell you to do. You ain't getting up in here. You ain't coming up in here tonight. I'm the lock queen. You hear me? So I'm sitting up there like, dang.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm doing all this stuff. The only thing I can't do is beat them up. Dang, that was the only thing I ain't do. All the rest of the tags, I didn't commit it. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I ain't do is put hands on them. Everything else, I'm guilty of. Okay? So I had to work on myself. I had to go back and apologize to some people like, hey, I wasn't the victim that I thought I was. I put myself into some stuff. And not only by loving the wrong man, but thinking I could control him and thinking I was his mama. I ain't your mama. You know what I'm saying? So, that hit deep for me. And so then after that education, then I went back to CIS, and then now I'm a certified domestic violence advocate. And I always tell people, you got to go through the steps. You can't go straight from abuser. And one of the sisters in the chat, and I can't look at it because I'm on my phone, but she said something about we went from victims to survivors to educators. I think that's how she put it. And I was like, bam, sis, you ain't said nothing but a word, because we started out victims. We learned how to survive. We came to get this good education from CIS, and then we became advocates to go back out and help another sister.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. And the sister circles are the best things ever. Even though now that we're certified advocates, we have to tell people that we're mandate reporters. But we do have people in the sister circles who are not advocates that you could talk to wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can't tell these people everything we going through. We can't tell our family everything that we going through. They understand, but they don't understand. At the end of the day, their goal is for you to be your best self and be with the best person. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to have a biased opinion to you putting up with anybody foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we got to go to the sisters. We got to go to the sisters. And the sisters going to educate us on, hey, look at this perspective. These are the things you could do. This worked for me, might not work for you, but this may give you a start on what this could look like for you. So always go to the sisters first. Come to the sisters first. Come to Queen for this education. You ain't going to get no better, raw, uncut, loving. You hear what I'm saying? She going to give it to you raw, but she going to give it to you loving. Yes. She going to put it into perspective so that you can understand what domestic violence really means. Because we are so lost with what it could mean for us. Some of us grew up in it. I'm a abandoned child. My mother abandoned us as kids. My father let us do whatever we wanted to do because he felt sorry for us because my mother abandoned us. Now, do I want to say my parents didn't love us? No, they loved us the way that they could. But we all know that, hey, kids go through traumatic things. They lash out in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So people grow up in dysfunction. So when it comes smacking you on your face as an adult or a teenager, you so used to it. It's so normalized that you don't really understand what it is until it get really bad. Then you're like, oh God, this is what they mean when they was talking about domestic violence. So thank you, sis, always for going to the youth, keeping us advocates and us sisters educated so that we know what domestic violence really means, what that really looks like, so that we can share that with our family, with our friends. We can take it to the community and let people know that domestic violence is not okay. Childhood trauma is not okay, but we got to identify what it is and work through it. Not work around it, not work under it, not work over it. We got to work through it. You hear me? So that is exactly the best way to overcome domestic violence. Facing it, realizing what it really, really is, what it meant in your life, and how not to do it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's crucial. That's crucial. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Put a lot of nuggets out there, but
I learned from the best.
But I want you to talk about the unhoused piece.
Okay.
Unhoused.
So with the NE Divas, like I said, I started the NE Divas up 10. We'll be 10 years in April. And what we do with the NE Divas is we service the domestic violence and the unhoused community, because we know that, just like Queen said, some people don't have a 5-year game plan so that they can train. Some people leave that day, they don't have nothing but the clothes they have on. So what we do is we collect various things throughout the years. We do a sock drive every year. Right now we're doing a t-shirt drive, undershirts. We're doing socks and books for Christmas for DC Safe. But we have the DHS has the homeless shelter hotline. So if anyone is experiencing any type of homelessness or crises prevention, we can always check there. They have several different family shelters, like the Harriet Tubman shelter, and the YWCA, where they service the homeless or unhoused. And they use the term unhoused now because we don't want to call people homeless. Because the homeless, what does that really mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we got people who out here working who could be unhoused, because you might be living with your mom or your sister, or you may be living somewhere that, homeless, we thinking, oh, this person is just living out on the street or something like that. So when we say the unhoused community, the unhoused community are our community members who are living in shelters. So we like to make sure that they are, getting socks, having clean PJs, underclothes. Those are crucial things. When you just been through a traumatic experience, and that first night that you get to lay your head down in safety, that you can have clean socks and a clean pair of pajamas and a clean t-shirt and clean panties. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that we like to do with the unhoused shelters here in Washington, D.C., whether they be for our homeless community or our domestic violence survivors and victims, as well as their children. And if anybody else wants a list of that, I've been working on getting a resource list, and I can share that with Queen so that we can put that on the Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags community wall. So if anybody ever needs any help, or because it's a lot of people don't want to go to the shelters because there's so much leg work. But in the Sister Circle, we do that. We do all of that back behind the scenes. So when you come to us, we can say, this what you need, this what you're going to need, this what you're going to need. So we don't just send you there and say, we'll call these people and figure it out. So when you come to the Sister Circle and we know what your needs are, then we can say, this is the perfect place for you to go. You only need these things. Or you have a young son, because some of them, if you got boys, you can't go here. Or if if you're still with this person or doing that, you can't do this. So, we do that type of research behind the scenes so that we can help navigate and take that load off. Because you already got enough stuff to think about. You don't got time to be worried about, I'm calling 50 million shelters and nobody can help me. No, you need to call the one shelter that's going to help you. You're going to call the one shelter that's going to help you. We're not going to give you no list of 50 shelters and tell you to figure it out. So again, lean on the Sister Circles. Come on over to Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags. Get that education. See what that means for you. Because once you get it, it's going to start clicking. You're going to start thinking like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. It's going to start clicking for you. It's going to become clear. What was foggy is going to become clear. It's going to come clear. And then you're going to have a clear understanding, and you're going to have sister support and love to guide you. Okay. Now we ain't going to hold your hand now. We ain't going to take you from A to B, but we going to give you what you need to soar. And, just like Queen said, so many of us came in as victims, turned to survivors, and now we're educators. That says a lot.
That says a lot.
That says a lot, right?
Yes.
That says a lot about the classroom.
Yes, it does.
Because it's easy for us to sit back and play victim, 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 victim all day long. He did this, he did this, she did this, she did that. But not getting the education, not getting the understanding, not fixing it keeps you from going back, keeps you from meeting that same joker again. It keeps you from not knowing what red flags are. Okay? So come and get this education,
yes,
okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am. Man, I agree. 100%. It will. And actually what it does is like you said, in childhood, you may have seen it, grew up with it, grew up around it, whatever. And your amygdala portion of the brain is the part that spots for the danger, like you saying, the red flags. So the children know that it's red all day in the house when this stuff be going on, right? And so when the children get older and start getting in their relationships, they still responding and moving in the amygdala. So here I have the same relationship that looked like the relationship that I had at my dinner table. This is the same one. Like you said,
absolutely
the same person with those same behavior tendencies, you know, and now you with this person, like you made this person your partner. That's still coming from the amygdala. That's still fight, flight, and freeze. You see what I mean? So in order for, you know, like you saying, to get that education and stuff, we got to pull it to the front of our brain. We got to pull it to cortex, to the front. So we can identify with those red flags and the do's and the don'ts, like you saying.
Absolutely.
Accountability and responsibility, because if you got your children living in this mess, you are responsible for their behavior.
We are.
And their upbringing and the way they're going to trend as they move forward. You lay the platform for that. Parents, we lay the platform for that. Sisters, we lay the platform for that. And so if we living in domestic violence, clearly our children's brains are underdeveloped.
Absolutely.
Underdeveloped. And so we're going to, you know, do what we saw in childhood. We're going to think the way they taught us to think. Living in domestic violence. Now, you know, that can be very wicked thinking. That can be a very wicked thinking process. So to have a classroom and a sister circle there, like you saying, to have the sisters there who know what you are experiencing, okay, and can sit there and identify with what you are experiencing, that's going to make a better success story for that person who is struggling, you know, because you just listening, like you said, you just listening, you just understanding that who that sister is and the trauma that she experiencing. But we got so many sisters who say the opposite. They say, go back to him. It's not that bad. Aren't you eating? You can't you take a shower? Don't you go to the bathroom and you got toilet paper in there? I will wipe my tail with some daggone paper bag. Okay. But I'm not about to live in this though. I'm not about to live in that. I will go out there and do what I gotta do to survive, but I'm not about to live in that, you know, but that's not realistic, because the truth is though, aren't you using the bathroom like with toilet paper? Like, aren't you taking a shower? Like, it's not that bad.
And our mindset get like that because and like I always tell people, sometimes you gotta sit in it, because sometimes we go to our friends' houses or whatever, and then they got rules and stipulations like that, like, don't take, don't flush the toilet every time you go to the bathroom. You know, don't everybody taking a bath. You know, so you be feeling crazy. So yeah, sometimes that do make more sense. Like, well, at least over there, I ain't gotta, I might be getting my head knocked over, but at least I can flush the toilet. At least I can take a bath in my own bath water. You know what I'm saying? At least I could do this, that, and the other. And something else you said, sis, and I had to have a talk with my daughters. when they were young, like in their early 20s, I noticed how aggressive they were with their boyfriends.
Right.
And so I started with my older daughter. I was like, why you so aggressive? And she was like, well, I watched what you and Big A went through and da-da-da. So I said, well, let me talk to you about it. And so I'm famous for pulling out some paperwork and some literature, like, okay, read this and then tell me, let's go back and talk. Same with my middle daughter. And when I said something to her, she was like, his mother said the same thing to me. I said, oh, she addressed you? She said, yeah. I said, yeah, y'all a little aggressive. And I don't want y'all to be aggressive with men. So did y'all look at me as being weak? Or, I wanted to understand what was their perspective or what they were thinking. Well, no, mama, we didn't really think you were weak. I'm just feeling like I'm not gonna let no man talk to me or do nothing, or I'm not gonna do some of the things you did. So I'm gonna make sure this, that, and the other. So I'm like, well, if you feel like you can't be feminine with a man, if you can't be a woman or be feminine with a man, and you gotta be aggressive and something, then you may need to look at the relationship, or you may need to look at yourself, because you need to figure out why you're so aggressive or what's making you angry in the relationship, and not just worry about that. Oh, I'm the alpha in this relationship. I'm not gonna let no man do this to me. I'm not gonna let no man talk to me like that, because ideally we were designed to be their wives, their partners. So we're not supposed to be aggressive to them, and they're not supposed to be aggressive to us. So that's when you equally yoked. So if you're rah, and you just happen to meet a man that's not rah back, you could turn him into a rah because you so aggressive. Like, come down some. Like, understand why you're being aggressive, and then then let's have a conversation. So that kind of died down with them some, but that is something that happens when girls grow up in households watching their mother be abused. They can become aggressive, and little boys can become the aggressor, or even they can get with women who are aggressive to them and think, oh, well, my dad was putting hands on my mom, I ain't gonna never do that to a woman. But then they end up with a woman who gonna put hands on them. And Queen always talking about men hurt too. They're just a little bit more silent about it. But men go through it too. Some women have taken on that aggressive role with men, especially after being in a domestic violence situation or watching someone be in a domestic violence situation. So taking control of those emotions, knowing why we're angry, knowing what's upsetting us, like, why am I being aggressive in my relationship, will help you also.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Because we got to realize that if we children growing up in this, like, we are victims. They call us witnesses. No, the children are victims of domestic violence when they growing up in this stuff, because it's happening to them too. There's no way you're gonna tell me them children in that room sleep and y'all supposed to be talking about y'all talking low, and I know they would sleep. So I tried to really not raise my voice. No, domestic violence don't work like that. No, it don't. It work like them.
And the energy, the atmosphere, the energy, it's always off. It's off when domestic violence is around.
It's off.
It's off.
But we be trying to manipulate the children's minds and make them think what they saw wasn't really what they saw, and what they heard really wasn't what they heard. So we start going to all these excuses and covering up for the abuser.
And ourselves, because we don't want to feel like we bad mothers at the end of the day. I did the best I could.
Say so, sis. Say so. And ourselves.
And ourselves, we got to take responsibility. Got to.
We have to take responsibility for
it. We got to.
That helps us get better. And like you said, becoming more transparent, with yourself about, hey, I had my children living in this. Like, I am out of my mind. Like, I'm literally out of my mind, because most parents gonna say children don't deserve that. If you talk to a parent, they're going to say, children don't deserve that. Children don't deserve that. Yeah, children don't deserve that, but that's what you're doing. You know, like that's what's happening. You know, it's domestic violence. And I don't know how you feel about the word toxic, but toxic to me is minute. Toxic to me, you know, you can walk away from toxic.
Yes.
Domestic violence, you ain't walking away from no domestic violence.
No.
No, you're going to devise a plan with domestic violence if you want to exit. You know, toxic, that's for teenagers. Like, boom, be gone. Grown people,
I agree.
Grown people, we be in domestic violence relationships with these men, and some of us women that are doing a girl and girl relationship, and some of the women that are bisexual. You got all this stuff going on, and it's domestic violence. That's what it is. It's domestic violence.
Absolutely.
You know, because verbal abuse ain't never lied about what it can do to
you.
Verbal abuse ain't never lied about what it can do to your life.
And that emotional abuse as well, sis. That verbal and emotional is top. I always, when I'm going through the tags, I always put them first.
They the top two.
I always put them first, sis, because you know that verbal and emotional abuse is what tears you down and what keeps you confused and not understanding what domestic violence really is. Oh, well, I ain't putting hands on you. I only said this. I only did that. It's the whole manipulation behind the whole thing. And same like with me, with changing the lock. Oh, you ain't in the house by 10 o'clock. Oh, you ain't coming in. It's all emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all part of that big chain. So you locked me out. Now I'm going to come kick your door in and bust you upside the head. So all that emotional abuse then trickle down to a physical act. So it's always going to start in the emotions. Then it's going to come out of your mouth. And then it's going to start displaying in all the other tags after that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's a fact. I don't give what nobody say. That's a fact. You can step up and jump and try to get around the verbal and emotional abuse. You can make excuses about these things, but they ain't never lied about what they will do to your life. Once you start indulging in verbal abuse, because you know that's the way it's going to start for most people, right? Most people won't be getting them verbal, you know, them explicitives out, and the abuse is going to belittle you, undermine you, discredit you, and make you feel crazy psychologically, which is a tactic that they use, you know. And so verbal abuse, it never lies. Emotional abuse never lies about the damage that they can do to your life. So many people have died because of verbal abuse. Right now, today, people are still dying because of verbal abuse. And if you put emotional abuse on top of that, it's a whole disaster. It's a whole disaster. A whole disaster waiting to. And for that sister who in there just crying, all she feel like she can do is just cry, cry, cry. All she keep doing is crying, crying, crying. One day them tears can turn into, like my sister's saying, a physical act to where she have killed her abuser. Because she got tired. She said, I'm tired of crying. I can't cry no more. And that have turned into physical abuse. You know, so verbal abuse don't lie about what it can do to your life. Emotional abuse don't lie about what it can do to your life. To an adult, we talking about adults, but especially for children. Yeah, especially for children. Verbal abuse and emotional abuse is the platform to how your children will grow, communicate, you know, love on themselves, respect themselves, honor themselves. Verbal abuse and emotional abuse will diminish that.
Yes,
diminish it. You don't end up finding out about self-respect and self-love until 20 years later.
Okay.
20 years later, then you know about loving yourself and caring about yourself. No, boo-boo, no. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's supposed to be from day one in your mother's womb. You are loved. You are loved. You a queen. You a princess. Like you're a woman. You making magic. Like you're gonna make magic happen when you come out of this womb. But for the child to be born and conceived in domestic violence, and then born into domestic violence, and then an adolescent in domestic violence, it is horrible. Yes. Horrible.
And hard to unpack.
The victim.
You got, and just imagine unpacking all of that, sis. With no guidance, without no understanding.
Girl, let me tell you, sis. Sisters be breaking down this and that early on. Like if my mother would have told me to love myself, my daddy, would have showed me appreciation. Like I would have never chose that man. I would have never chose that female. Like no, I would have never did that.
Yeah.
You see, but you find out 20 years later that you love yourself and still working on ways to look in the mirror. I'm just now like starting to be comfortable with looking in the mirror. And I don't look at that bad boy for too long. I don't look at it for too long because it's baby steps. It's baby steps.
Me too, sis.
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Like I could pop a selfie because that's like 10 seconds at the most. Pop. I could do a little pose and maybe do a little arch in the head. But literally looking in the mirror and standing there and saying, I love myself. I care about myself. That's baby steps for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is some 20 years later for me that, I'm getting more and more comfortable with potentially standing in that mirror because the person have told me that I'm nothing from a verbal standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. They have told me that I'm nothing. Like, and so who wants to mirror? Who living in the mirror? I don't even care. Like at this point, like it don't even matter. Like I wear the marks of domestic violence. Like I had 2 black eyes. You know what I'm saying? 2 black eyes at one time. Go figure. You think I'm gonna stay in that mirror? No, I'm not. I'm gonna stay in that mirror that long. Okay. So, like you saying, it's those baby steps of getting through that process, unpacking it. Unpacking it is a struggle in itself. Like, and then coming to the realization that I help cause or do damage to my children's cognitive development because of this. Like all of that is so hurtful to a victim of domestic violence and still too many survivors. All of that is still hurtful. So yeah, she got to tread lightly. Like Judy said, you need you a good sister circle where sisters know that what you are going through is very humbling, and very tragic in itself. You're going to experience grief. You're going to have those 5 stages of grief coming over you because it's like I never wanted to be my mother, but you're gonna be your mother.
You're gonna be your mother. Yeah.
You're gonna be your mother. It's just no way to get around. The question is, what type of mother did you have? That's the question. You see, and that's
so true.
But you unpacking it and identifying that, dang, I am like my mother. I'm much like my mother because even like you said, abandoned as a child by your mother, you still can do that to your children. you know, and you can still be in the presence of your children doing it.
And DNA don't lie.
And
you ever
DNA
seen somebody who never been around their parent, who never been around, maybe never even seen a person that act just like them, look just like them, walk like them, hold the fork just like them, and you like, wow, DNA don't lie. That's what they mean about them generational curses. People think generational curses is on the surface. Generational curses is our DNA. It's our foundation. It's where we came from. It's the people that we came from. It's the struggles that the people that they came from. That's what generational curses mean. And you know, when I went through what I went through with my parents, when I had my kids, I took parenting classes.
Yes, ma'am.
But I still took my kids through stuff. I ain't take them through the stuff my parents took me through, but I still took them through some stuff. I still took them through some stuff. Because of them generational curses, you can't shake them when you don't know exactly what curses you trying to shake. And you trying to figure it out. Or you like, I ain't like them. I ain't got no generational curses. That ain't me. You got to look at the family history. You got to check the soil. You got to check the soil. You got to know the soil in which you come from. You got to know the soil in which your partner come from, because that is going to be the DNA background of the little person that you create. They're going to have a little bit of all of it. Okay. And no matter what you do and don't do, that generational DNA, it is what it is. It's the foundation of the family. So that's why as families, we got to do better so that the soil can change. We got to, you know, when they plant a new harvest every year, what they do? They dig up that old dirt and they lay down some fresh soil, right? They dig it up. They don't just throw the fresh soil on top of the undigged up. You got to get in there and dig that stuff. You got to stir that stuff up. You got to dig down in the root. You got to pull out the bad stuff. You got to recognize that stuff. You got to recognize that stuff, that generational stuff. And then you got to plant new fresh soil and new flowers and all of that on top, and then look at the harvest. And the harvest ain't gonna come in a year or two or whatever. It might come in this generation or next. We might not even be alive when the harvest comes. But let's start digging up that soil and digging up that dirt and putting down fresh soil and planting the flowers that we want to see. So that when our great grandkids talk about us, like Grandma Judy was the one that changed the soil. Grandma Queen of Fee was the one who changed the soil. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get in there. We're going to start digging up this dirt as a sister circle. We're going to plant new soil. We're going to make sure that the flowers and that we are creating now are what we want to see for our DNA and our generational backgrounds.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Facts. Change the soul. I like that. Change the soul. I mean,
change the soul. Use the queen. Change that soil. Dig it on up.
Dig it on up.
Don't just lay the clean soil on that dirty old dirt. Don't do it.
You better not.
Don't do it.
Plant new soil.
Okay.
If you don't,
them same old weeds gonna pop up.
Them same old weeds.
Them same old weeds gonna keep on popping up. We ain't doing that no more.
I swear. And the part, and that's the part where you said you end up choosing that same man. So you didn't get out of the relationship with no new soul, right? You ain't playing no new soul. And you end up with that same weed. You got the same weed that you just was with. You growing the same excuse my French ass. You growing the same BS. But if, like you saying, Judy, if you plant new soil, you're going to do better. You're going to choose wiser.
You're going to do better. You're going to choose wiser.
You're going to think before you choose. Like, and you're not going to be afraid to say, oh, that's a red flag for me. I can't do that. No. I'm good. Then you're gonna say all that new soil I planted, like I'm not about to sow that. Like this good for at least 100 years. Like
okay.
Like I'm not about to do that all over. Okay. But we got sisters who are still picking up them same weeds in partners that are completely unhealthy.
And I'm not telling anybody to be like me, but I've been single for 18 years. I've been celibate for 16 years. I dibbled and dabbled a little bit afterwards, but after my breakup. But after that, I took a single ladies ministry. And then I just started pouring into myself, pouring into my kids, my grands. And when people like, oh, why you not dating? Oh, you let Big A mess you all up. That may be true, but my journey now has nothing to do with him. My journey has all to do with that. I did the work. I dug up all the old stuff, and like these jokers ain't coming putting no weeds in my soil. They ain't doing it. And if God send me a good man, I'ma know, and then I can date again. But right now, hey, I'm cool. You know, I'm not unhappy. I'm not lonely. Matter of fact, celibacy was one of the best things. I always tell people, and they always laugh. Like I always had a man, one on the side, one waiting his turn. I mean, getting a man ain't never gonna be hard. Getting one to get then that's a hard. Okay, getting a man ain't never been hard. You can always find somebody who's gonna want to wet your tail up. Okay, so that's never been an issue. But getting one to get or one with good intentions, that's where the test comes in. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm not open to ever dating again, but if God send me the right person and I recognize him, but these jokers and these weeds think they're going to come and jump in my clean soil, absolutely not going to happen.
Okay. And give up the snaps, baby, because I'm with you 100% on that. It's not going to happen.
You ain't getting in this soil, bookie butt.
No, you're not. Because you're going to have to start all over again. You're going to have to start all over again. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't have no time to do that.
Not going to happen.
I already wasted enough time doing that. I don't have no time to do that. So if I'm saying that it's like I'm working through my stuff, I'm working through my stuff so I can be better for me, you know, and my children. And then when God gives me the right person, I'm able to, like you said, recognize that because I have some of those same qualities that person will have in terms of healthy relationship, right? And one of those things, the first place is going to be communication. It's always going to start with the verb. How are you communicating with yourself?
Can you communicate?
Can you communicate? Because I feel like if you can't get yourself together, how you going to get somebody else together? You know, if you can't
communicate
the positive affirmations, how you going to be able to get that to another person? You struggling to get it to yourself and your children. Now, how you going to give it to a whole man? No. Sisters got to say no. I'm willing to take whatever time it is to work on myself. And we got sisters out there that can attest to this number, even yourself. 5 to 10 years it takes.
They do. And once you put that much work in, I tell you, it becomes so easy. It becomes so easy. Oh my God. You won't even think about what nobody come and dirty up your soil.
No, absolutely not.
You be looking, when the jokers be approaching me, I be giving them the stank look. I be have to control my face sometimes because I be looking at them like, I know you barking up the wrong tree. I just know you know that.
All day in the
I know I just put off an aura that lets you know that you are barking up the wrong tree, Buddy Rose. So go on about your business because you're not coming over here dirtying up this soil, okay?
5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years to reprogram that brain and get everything to the brain. That's going to take 5 to 10 years. Okay.
Amen.
And then you are, you know,
a real work, not just 5 or 10 years, or not real 5 or 10 years of working.
Self-work, real
Absolutely.
self-regulation, building up that emotional intelligence, getting yourself in check for yourself. 5 to 10
Amen.
years. 5 to 10 years
Amen.
to program that brain and really get the ball spinning on what self-love looks like, you know, what self-worth is, what my self-respect is standing for, like self and self awareness. We can stay in that for 2 years. A stay in self-awareness for 2 years, because that's
Amen.
like you said, you identifying with your own part in it with self-awareness, and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
where it started. That's that piece. When you say I want to heal, you got to start with self-awareness, because you got to come out of the denial. You got to start coming out the denial of stuff and recognize the position that you play. You know,
Amen.
that's a struggle. That's a struggle, and you don't want, you know, it's hard to do that by yourself, which is why, you know, the sister support is here. Judy, give us your last encouragement, girl. Tell the people how they can get it, because somebody already said they want that list that you talked about.
Okay, yep. So y'all can hit me up on Facebook at Judy Moore. That's JUDYMOORE. Instagram, we are at NE Divas _83. And on Facebook, we are under the NE Divas as well. But yep, just hit me in the inbox though. I'm on domestic violence with as many tags, and so you guys can find me. And then I'll send you out the list, or we can put notes together, and I can get resources from you guys. You can get resources, and we can create a whole new list of resources. But yep, just hit me up at any time. And the NE Divas page is a private page, so if you send a request, I will accept it, because I do screen for safety reasons of the group. It is in an open public page, because we do have sisters who could be facing domestic violence, and we don't want just any and everybody in the group. But if you send it, and I can verify that you're legit, or your connection with Queen in the sister circle, or you just reach out and say, hey, I saw y'all on live and I need your assistance. And I will, I will reach back out. I'm very responsive. So I reach out to everyone who reaches out to me, and we don't charge you any money for anything or any resources or help. So if anybody reach out to you and say, oh, you got to pay this, that we do not charge any money. We are a free sister circle. The only thing we do is we do collect donations, and all our donations go to actual shelters. We don't do, now we will help a sister out. Now, don't get me wrong, but we don't do that. Oh, we collected money for this person and the money's going to someone we have no idea what. All of our resources and monies go directly to domestic violence shelters or unhoused shelters that service the communities in the DMV area. Okay, so that is the only thing that we do is collect items that go to the shelters. But other than that, all services and resources are free of charge.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Peace and love, sis. Thank you for chiming in. The sisterhood.
I love you, sis. You know I love you to life. I love you to life.
Oh, I love you more, sis. And you can put that list in our Sister Circle Live too, if you get a moment to do that.
Okay. I'll put it in the group. Yep.
Now make sure I can
absolutely
get it out that way. And when the record out all the diva stuff, I'm gonna have it on the caption where they can find you at too for the
all right,
divas.
cool.
Okay,
all right, I love you, sis. I love everybody that tapped in. We're sending y'all purple kisses, and don't forget to get on domestic violence. Where's Mini Tag's classroom? Mwah.
Y'all heard my sister say. Y'all heard what she said. Okay, follow them instructions.
Get that education.
Get that education, baby.
That's get that education. So we can save some more sisters out here. We can save ourselves, and then we'll go back and free some other sisters. Okay, that's what we doing.
That's what we doing.
That's what we doing.
Let's go.
All right. All right. Have a good weekend, sis. Love you. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, peace and love. Sisters up out of here. Y'all heard what the sister said now. Get yourself together. Come on now, somebody. Be a part of it. You know what you got to do.
This is Young Motive.
1-800-998 if you need that help.
That's often overlooked.
1-800-998.
Domestic violence.
Sisters and brothers. Sisterhood.
So Queen Afia, if you're listening, check it out.
Check it out. Take out the family. Go in peace and love. My brothers and sisters, tell somebody domestic violence with meditate. Go in peace and love, my brother.
He says,
Let's get it together. Talk about it. Let them know that they're not alone. Young Motive is back with the topic of the day. It's a crucial situation.